Hello, welcome to this part. So in this part, we will discuss some of the topic, and the first topic is seasoning of the timber. Now, what is seasoning? Well, as I discussed earlier also that the fresh tree, uh, the live tree contains moisture from 100 to 300%, and when the tree falls, the moisture starts decreasing, and that most moisture uh, when it starts, so the moisture normal value of the moisture in the fresh timber can be 30 to 40%. Now we have to remove this excess moisture also. Now how do we remove it, and why there is a requirement to remove it? So as we have discussed that this moisture content actually affects the strength, and also there are chances that this 30 to 40% sap or moisture, it uh, it can attract the fungal attack also, and that fungal attack ultimately will decay the timber. So to to remove this moisture, what we do is we apply some special methods to remove this moisture. So removing, the process of this removing moisture is actually known as seasoning of timber. So the process of removing this moisture is seasoning timber. So seasoning of the timber can be done in two ways. It can be done in natural way or in the artificial manner also. So naturally, what we do is we stack the timber logs in this manner from the ground. So we stack such that the air can be circulated in the through the timber logs. So we keep this timber uh, stack in the open ground, and when the air circulate through it, so seasoning happens. So it takes around 3 to 4 weeks for the seasoning to complete. For for complete seasoning, it takes 3 to 4 weeks, and because it takes a lot of time, so we have developed. There are some other methods also which are known as artificial method. So in the artificial method, one of the method is called kiln seasoning. So in the kiln seasoning, there is basically an airtight chamber in which we put timbers in the stack, and then hot air is blown to that stack, and through that air, hot air, the moisture removes. And generally in the artificial seasoning, it takes around 4 to 5 days. So therefore it is a lot of time saving, and also the seasoning done by the artificial method, it is also very effective. Another method which also comes under the artificial seasoning is the electric seasoning. In this, timber is subjected to alternate currents, and through these alternate currents, the resistance of the timber is measured. So when the resistance of timber is maximum, we consider that the seasoning of the timber is completed. So that is all about the seasoning of the timber. And seasoning of timber is very important uh, because for the point of view of strength. So lower is the moisture content, higher will be the strength. So now coming to the uh, classification of timber. Well, timber can be classified into various manners, and there are three basically the basis on which we will be classifying the timber. One is the on the basis of mode of growth, and the second one on the basis of modulus of elasticity and extreme fiber bending stress. Well, this second classification is most important for us for the timber designing, and the third classification is based on the seasoning characteristics. So first we will see the classification of timber based on the growth. So based on the growth, there are basically two types of timber. One is called the exogenous tree. In the exogenous tree, basically the tree trunk grows outward, which means every year it grows in terms of annual rings. So in the timber cross section, we have seen that there are very fine small rings. So those small rings are actually known as annual rings, because these rings forms after 1 year. So every year when tree is grown outward in terms of the addition of the annual ring, then that kind of tree is known as exogenous. So exogenous further have two types of tree, I mean two types of category. One is called the coniferous tree and the second one is called the deciduous tree. Conifer tree are basically having the soft wood. Their wood is very soft, light in color, and the density of the softwood is very low. Similarly, the second type of tree is deciduous tree, and these are the hardwood. Their appearance is dark and their density is high. Well, if we talk about the coniferous tree, their leaves, these are also known as the evergreen tree because they don't fall. I mean, their leaves don't fall, and also their leaves are pointed, uh, narrow and pointed. And the example of conifer tree can be uh, devdar, devdar tree, cal tree. So these can be the example of conifer tree, mango tree. Similarly, the deciduous tree, these are the tree whose tree, I mean, whose as they shed their leaf in the autumn and the new leaves grown in the spring season. So they actually shed their leaves. And the example of these deciduous trees are salwood, shisham, and cheer, babul. So there are various trees which comes under the category of deciduous tree. And these deciduous trees are the hardwood. Their wood is very hard, highly dense, and therefore most of the engineering construction we use these hardwood uh, in our construction. In this, salwood is very common in the constructions. We also use shisham, cheed, babul. So these are the example of deciduous tree. Now exogenous tree looks like this. In this you can see the stem. This stem grows uh, annually by increment of the annual ring. Now talking about the next type of tree, which is the endogenous. Now endogenous trees are the tree which grows inwards, which means uh, at the start you can see this is the example of endogenous tree. At the start you can see the stem is thicker, and as the time increases they grow upward, and at the same time their stem decreases. You can see here their stem decreases. So this kind of growth is known as, this kind of growth is called inward growth, while in case of exogenous the growth is increasing. It is increasing. So therefore the stem is bulky for exogenous tree, and for endogenous the stem is very light, very thin. The example of endogenous tree is the bamboo, canes, sugarcane, uh, and palms. So these are the example of endogenous tree. So this is the classification of timber based on the growth. Now we will come to the most important classification of timber for our point of view, because the timber which is classified based on its modulus of elasticity and the fiber bending stress, extreme fiber bending stress. Based on the bending stresses and modulus of elasticity, this is what we see. So based on this category we have three groups. We have classified timbers in three group. One is the group A. In the group A value, in the group A, the timbers which will be having Young's modulus of elasticity higher than 12,600 Newton per mm square, and if the value of FB is higher than 18 Newton per mm square, then we classify the timber as group A timber. Similarly, the second group will be having modulus of elasticity higher than 9800 Newton per mm square, but lower than 12600, then that kind of timber will comes under the category of group B. And also the value of FB will be between 12 to 100 Newton per mm square. Similarly, we have the third group in this, and the group C is having Young's modulus of elasticity more than 5600 and less than 9800 Newton per mm square. Similarly, the value of FB is between 8.5 Newton per mm square to 12 Newton per mm square. So in this, the first class timber will be group A, second class will be group B, and third class will be group C. So the uh, weakest timber in this group will be belonging to group C, and the strongest timber will belong to group A. Because higher is the Young's modulus of elasticity, higher will be the strength, higher will be the stiffness of the timber. Now, the third classification is based on the seasoning characteristics. Now, based on the seasoning characteristics, we have three types of timber. First is class A timber. Now, class A timber is a kind of timber which takes a lot of time for the seasoning. So these timbers are very slow and difficult to dry if the final product is to be free from the defects, particularly cracks and splits. So they take very high time for the uh, seasoning. Similarly, the second type of timber is belong to class B, and in this these timber shows a moderate tendency to crack and split during the seasoning. So the second type of timber during the seasoning, it cracks and splits. I mean the fibers within the timber, they crack, they shows the crack and splits. So this kind of timber comes under the category of class B. Then we have class C timber. Class C timber are the timber which can be seasoned very rapidly and who are free from defects, and even by applying the high temperature in the industrial kiln. So they can be seasoned very easily, and they belongs to class C or non-refractory woods. So that is the classification based on the seasoning characteristics. Now coming to the again a very important topic, and that is the defects. Well, the strength of timber is affected by the defects also, and there are various types of defect. Defect can be natural, defect can be artificial, like during the seasoning there are various defects occur which affects the strength. Similarly, the defect can be due to the termites, due to the insects. So there are various types of defects, but here we will be contained ourselves to some of the important defects which influence the strength of the timber. So here the first we will see what is defect. Defect is basically the irregularity or abnormality occurring in or on wood which is responsible for its strength reduction. Yes, defect reduce the strength, and it also lower the durability of the timber. It also lower the utility of the timber. It cannot be utilized properly if it is having defects, and the appearance of the timber is very poor if it is having defects. And defects is also responsible for the decay of the timber. So now coming to the first type of defect which generally occurs in the timber. So this defect is known as shakes. Shakes are basically the splitting of the fiber. The partial or complete separation between adjoining layers of tissues are called the shakes. And you can see that shake here. So here you can see these are the fibers. So if there is partial separation like this between the rings of the timber, similarly these lines are also the shakes. So in this you can see they are actually splitting this fiber, and this fiber they are actually splitting along this line. So these are actually known as the shakes, and these shakes are actually responsible for the reduction of the shear strength of the timber. So shakes affect the shear strength of the timber. So that is the one important defect. Second defect is the rindgal. Well, this defect is basically because of the, in the live tree, if any of the branch is cut in irregular manner, then what happens is the point from where it is cut off, uh, there wood grows. You can see here, like this is the branch and it is cut off from here. So what happens is the sapwood of the tree grows here, and it makes like, this kind of uh, portion becomes here. And this is very weak in the strength, and therefore it is highly vulnerable to the decay, because that can be that can house various types of insects, various types of birds. So this portion becomes very weak. So that is also the defect, comes under the category of natural defect. And because of this ringal, this portion is called the ringal. Because of this new growth, uh, the new growth which is coming in the form of growth of the sapwood, it does not unite properly with the old wood which is already present here, which is broken because of the uh, cut off of the branch. So the new growth does not unite with it properly, and therefore a very important defect comes from this, which we will discuss in the next slide, and which is called the knots. So this knots is very much responsible uh, for the reduction of the strength. We will discuss these knots in the next slide. Now, yes, as I said, we will discuss now the next defect, which is the knots. And as I discussed how these knots are created, these knots are created because of the fallen branch in the irregular manner. So these knots here you can see, when you cut the timber from, irregularly, then what happens is uh, the growth, this continuous growth is stopped. And because of this, this portion develops, this portion is hardens because of the uh, fallen this branch, because the growth is stopped in this region. And some dark patches becomes here because of the discontinuity of the growth. And you can see here, these are the dark patches. And even in the tree you can see this dark patch is basically the knot. And even this knot is present when we convert this uh, tree into the piece of board. Even there also you can see the knot. Now this knot is very difficult to work out. Although this knot is very hard and compressive strength may be higher in this case, but it actually makes working of the wood very difficult. Now what is the meaning of working? Working means uh, it is very difficult to cut. If you want to cut from here, because this part is very hard, so it is very difficult to cut, and therefore working is uh, difficult in this case. So this knot is uh, weakened. This weakens the timber in tension. The tensile strength of the timber is weak because of the presence of the knot, but it may have strength in compression. So if you check the strength of timber in compression where there is a knot, it may show higher compressive strength, but the tensile strength of the timber is decreased because of the presence of this knot. So now next defect is the twisted fiber. Now what is this twisted fiber? Twisted fiber is the defect which occurs in the tree. I mean when generally in the forest, when there is a very high wind, or when there is a very high force of the wind, what happens is some young trees get twisted, their stem get twisted, and because of that twisted, uh, it, they are twisted in the young age. They grows in this twisted manner only, and the fibers of the tree also get twisted. So this is, in this photo you can see, this is the best example of twisted tree. And because all the fibers are twisted, these fibers are now very weak in strength, and therefore these type of wood cannot be used in the engineering construction. So this twisted fiber is again a natural defect which occurs because of the force of the wind. So this twisted fiber make the wood weak and it cannot be used for the structural purpose. Now, similar to this twisted fiber defect, the another defect is called upset. And this upset defect is caused because of the crushing or because of the injury of the tree. Now, what happens is, again, if we consider the fact that in the forest there is a very high wind, and because of the high wind, say one tree is fallen to the another tree. So the point where it is resting on the another tree, those at that point, the fiber may get uh, compressed. And if that fallen tree is resting on that that another tree for a very long time, then those fibers get compressed like this. You can see here, these are these are the fibers which are actually compressed or crushed. So if such upsets occur in the tree, here you can see also these are the upsets. So if such upsets occur in the tree, that also makes tree weak. So if the timber is having such upsets, we don't use that timber for the important work or for the important construction. So that is the defect because of the upsets. So these are the important defects that we have discussed and that influence the strength of the timber. So now we will continue our discussion in the next part. Thank you.